In this next gen training video, I'm going to go over some new key features. The first will be spell check, which has been enabled in next gen. Next is patient demographics, changes to the modify patient information window. Added functionality in the alerts module, and added functionality in the patient history bar filter. And also finally a share your experience button that next gen is added to the left hand navigation menu. I'm going to start with spell check. This spell check uses standard and medical dictionaries, and it follows the established standards for spell check. So if, as I'm typing words in a free text field, if there is a suggested misspelling, it will be indicated with the red squiggly line underneath the word. I can right click on a misspelling and spell check will give me correction suggestions. I can also add the word as is to my dictionary so that it no longer indicates a misspelling. But I can also open my spell check dialog, which gives me just additional options and actions I can take on that misspelled word. I also have the ability to open my spell check options, which allow me to adjust my individual settings for spell check. And from the general tab. From the user dictionary tab, I also have the ability to import or export dictionaries from other users. Moving on to the modify patient information, which you can access from clicking on a patient's name in the patient info bar. And as you can see, this window has changed quite a bit. There's been some new additions to the upper portion of the patient demographics. The first is the patient's birth sex, which represents the sex assigned to the patient at birth, and the current gender, which represents the sex the patient is currently living their life as well as the gender identity and sexual orientation options, which did exist in previous versions of NextGen, but they weren't as easily accessible. And you also have the preferred pronoun field in this top portion also. The other changes to this modify patient information window are fairly cosmetic. The tabs you used to have going across the middle of the page have been moved to the left hand side as more of a menu, but nothing has changed within those sections of the modify patient information. That moves us on to the alerts module. One really minor change, you'll note the add edit button, which in previous versions of NextGen was on the lower right hand corner of the module, has been moved to the left hand corner. And you'll also notice this new section called click to snooze selected alert. What that allows you to do, if a patient has any flagged alerts in their chart, which we know that flagged alerts will pop up every time you access the chart, and maybe you've already seen the alert, you don't want to remove the flag, but you do want it to stop popping up for yourself when you open the chart. You have the ability as an individual user to snooze that alert. So you would select the flagged alert and then come down to this snooze section and you can select the period of time. So you can only snooze an alert for 24, 48, or 72 hours. Once you snooze an alert, though, it's important to note that you're not able to unsnooze. So you have to make sure this is what you want to do. Select the time frame and then snooze and acknowledge. And if I go back into that person's alerts module, you'll notice that flagged alert now has a timer indicator rather than the red flag. So for 24 hours, that alert will be snoozed. I'm going to move on to the patient history panel filter option. So in the previous versions of NextGen, users had the ability to use the little drop down arrow next to filter, and you could filter by these specific parameters. New functionality that was available in previous versions of NextGen, you can now click on filter and you'll get this pop-up that allows you to add a little bit of specificity to your search, your filter. Moving on from there to the new share your experience option that NextGen has added. So from within any template, I'm going to open an intake. From your left-hand navigation menu, you'll now have this Share Your Experience button available. What that is going to open is a NextGen survey or link that you can provide feedback or suggestions directly to NextGen. I would caution, if you're using that to provide feedback or suggestions that you would like us to be able to take action on, still be sure to send those suggestions through your internal NextGen help desk, because we don't know yet who's managing the Share Your Experience resource and how that gets acted upon and how frequently. So that concludes this training module. Thank you.